Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Dom Costa. I got a lot of side hustles, and in this one, I'm going to talk about my scrap metal recycling. Lately, it's been making over $400, nearly $500 a month.
I got a million questions, but maybe we'll start there with where do I find scrap metal?
Basically, I find it driving back and forth to work in my community. People don't know what to do with it. Bed frames, not refrigerators, but too much plastic, but stoves, air conditioning units, water heaters, various pipes, any kind of lawn furniture that was used for a summer. But lately, it's really gotten bigger because, like I share with the kids, when you tell people what you do, all of a sudden they're looking for you. And sharing it on different social media, oh, that's that guy. He's got a truck. He comes here and he'll pick it up. So what has turned out is some manufacturers of metal near me that produce different stages for different events, they got heavier cuttings, just developed the last 3 years.
Okay.
So he'll call me when he has a bunch of it out. So that's
Okay. So
helped
you've
a
got
lot.
some relationships with some suppliers at this point
100%.
versus just cruising the streets and seeing what people have left out on the sidewalk.
Amen. And if you do see me out in my harbor area here, I'm not being shady, dumping my trash in somebody else's trash bin. If anything, I'm taking the stuff out because I'll see something like they'll put out water heaters or some of the larger barbecues. Currently, the price per gross ton, that's 22.40 per ton, not 2,000 pounds per ton, is I believe it's $120 per ton. And I've done this from as low in the 55, 60, which is kind of is it worth your time?
Okay.
But because I answer when people call when it's not real, fruitful for me, they call me when the times are rich because there's where times it was like 180 to almost $200 a ton. And it was like Merry Christmas every time I went to the scrapyard. And as I shared too with the kids, you're gonna make mistakes when you do some of this. I used to dump all of it, and I didn't realize totally the value of copper wire, different grades of aluminum, brass pieces. My storage locker antics, I found big wrenches. So anything that's brass that's stuck on a water heater, even my old butt with that big wrench pops it right off, stack it in a big 5-gallon bucket, and you go in once or twice a year when that's full up.
Okay.
It's just an easy side hustle that I think a lot of people can do. If you don't have a truck, at least do your, in California especially, your bottles and cans that you drink out of. I always make $30 to $50 every time I go in just with that. I mean, you paid the fee
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
recycling. I'm not knocking any amount of money because the people I work with, the kids in my community, sometimes an extra $100 a month, $100 a week can mean a lot.
Absolutely. Well, it all adds up for sure. Which, if I'm a newbie starting out, what type of metal is the most is the most valuable to look for?
Anytime you can find copper, followed by brass, followed by aluminum, and then the next kind of steel is your basically rough and tough number one steel. Typically, it's called just heavy duty steel. Usually, those are your appliances like stoves, ovens, washing machines. Typically, they'll accept them because they got a big motor on there. I know some recyclers, they even take the motors apart and take the copper out of them. I don't.
Okay. Okay. So is it a matter of, going around on trash day, seeing what people have left out, or is it like, oh, someone has listed this for free on Craigslist, and if it's a washer dryer, I'll go pick that up and take it to the recycle center for them?
A bit of all of it, and you hit it right on the head because I keep the Craigs. I told the kids this too. Put the Craigslist app on your phone, and put a search in there for free. And besides finding free things that you could have your own yard sale, when we get post-COVID, you'd probably be safe to have one. You'll see stuff that people put out, chairs, tables, any kind of iron goods, and you'll see it first. And even though not as many people are using Craigslist to sell, they're
Yeah.
using Facebook Marketplace, it's still a nice place to keep your finger on the pulse and see what's going on in your local community. Because, driving 25 miles for one dryer, it's not really worth the cost benefit thing is not there. But driving back and forth to work, and now you're used to looking for it, and it could be out any day of the week. I'm not a proponent of burning your fuel for, an hour and a half on trash night, unless where you live, it's that type of place where that much stuff gets put out. But
Yeah.
it's just keeping an eye out, and especially if you got a little space to stack or store some of it.
Have you
Press
got
the
a
bin.
lift gate on this? Because I'm just picturing like a half-ton pickup, and like, I mean, you're a strong dude, but like you're lifting up a washing machine and chucking it on there on your way to work. Like, I I don't know if I could do that individually.
Truly, this was my CrossFit workout for almost a decade. And my beloved wife says, "Hey, dude, you're turning 60 soon. Why don't you think about getting a lift gate?" And I was like, "Oh, it's going to cost almost 3 G's." And I'm cheap dago Irish guy. And I'm like, "Oh, what will the return be?" And so as it was, I had some older motorcycles that I'd fixed up, and I sold one. And I used that money to, because I like motorcycles, but I don't heal like I did when I was 20. So it's time to be a safe, healthy grandpa as much as I can. And so I sold it, bought it, and I mean it. It's been about a little over a year. And that probably, you're spot on. That's very good. It really helped me increase everything, because in the old days, I got to put it on a dolly, a ramp, lean it, lean the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
truck on a driveway, pop it up, slide it, and that was a good workout. But you really got to, now that leads to something else. You really got to be careful with this stuff, how you do it, how you move the stuff, because me getting hurt or anyone getting hurt is definitely something you don't want. So you got to know how to lift things. But the lift gate made a big deal, and it's paid for itself
So
over.
the strategy is to kind of collect stuff, stock it up in the side yard or in the garage until you have a reasonably sized load to take into the recycling center, and then go cash out.
Absolutely, especially saving the more higher priced metals, if you have the room to do that. And it could be small, just five-gallon buckets or trash cans, copper, brass, aluminum, copper wire that you may find. There's some of those scrappers on YouTube. They sit and they strip all that, the wire they get off of anything, and now it's number one bright copper, and you get a little better price for that. I don't make the time for that, and that's just a personal choice, but I don't get as much money.
Aside from just Googling scrap metal recycling near me, is that how you find where to take this place or where to take the stuff?
100%. And I started close to home, and then, well, another 4 miles. Man, this guy's paying almost $20 more per ton. That's so much more per pound. And I know someone's going to watch this video. This doesn't make sense, doesn't come out on paper. Well, I get it. I get it for some, but I'd rather make 40 bucks in an hour. Maybe my bar's too low. Maybe I need to raise it to 400 bucks an hour. I get that. I respect that. But if I was sitting around making zero and just driving back and forth to work, not too much energy expended. I had to drive to work, drive back, stop a second, throw it on there, fill the truck, drive it. Most of these loads are an hour and a half, 2.5 hours of work.
If somebody like spots you off their driveway or kind of like off the sidewalk, are they like, dude, where are you taking my stuff? Like, has that ever come up, or like awkward encounters?
They wave me in because
Okay.
I've been in this community so long. They go, "Hey, coach, come
All
on
right.
over," or
They know you.
I'll get DMs and messages. They don't know how to remove it. They don't have a dolly. I'm really blessed that my local community, I've been here so long, and being a teacher coach here so long, I've tried to live my life like a good way and treat people golden rulish. And I got to say, whatever it is I'm giving off, I've gotten back exponentially.
Well, now you're making me question, because I had this old treadmill desk, and the treadmill bit the dust, and I just called the garbage pickup department, like, hey, I got an oversized pickup, and they made me pay to have them take it away. It's like, well, shoot, I should have stuck it in the back of the car or back of the SUV and driven it off to this metal recycling place, see what I could have got.
Now that's an idea. Now sometimes one item is going to be, maybe that big heavy thing is going to be worth $8 to $15. You get done getting a half a hernia and you go, this wasn't worth it. So I do share with people, especially in my Los Angeles community. We're very blessed that we have bulky item pickup weekly, and they have the app for the phone, and you dial 311 in Los Angeles. You could arrange a pickup. So if it's too big or it's not worth it in terms of time and value to bring it in for a lot of families, I said, hey, look, put it out there in your alley, on your parkway. There's a lot of guys like me that are out there coming around to pick it up, and then also call it into your bulky item pickup, which in Los Angeles, as I mentioned, comes by weekly. And that guy doesn't get mad when he shows up your trash day and it's gone and someone else took it. And that way, all you had to do was move it 25 feet and up a flight of stairs and out the garage to your front area and to be done with it. And that leads to another one too. When you drive this stuff, I always put in all my videos, strap those loads and be safe, because number one, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to damage your car. And then close to number one or equal to it, you definitely don't want to hurt anybody else or their vehicle, because you went down the Harbor Freeway and a pipe fell off and caused a 4-car accident. So I don't go on the freeway. I strap the loads tight. I drive like an old guy. I want to be safe. That's number one. Be safe. Old man left the home. Old man returns home. Empty truck, cash in hand. Stack it. My goal right now is to pay off my mortgage. And this is what I want to share too. Because sometimes people go like, hey, what are you doing? You do all these things. Don't you make enough money? I go like, look, I've had a great life, but these side hustles have helped me like pay cash for my daughter's wedding, trip to Italy. As a football coach, I went to Mecca. I went to Canton, Ohio, and I went to the NFL Football Hall of Fame. I took my wife to Bora Bora. I'm paying down the mortgage. Things that with a teacher's salary, you could have done it. It would took a while and maybe eat a lot of beans and rice, but to stack a few dollars and to get a kid married and have it paid. You walking out that day of the wedding and it's all paid. You just got tip money in your coat pocket. That's a good feeling.
Well, you're making an impact with the message of positivity and work ethic that you do share. So really appreciate you taking me a little bit behind the scenes in what goes into making it happen. I guess if I could try and summarize, it would be, get creative with your sourcing. Tell people what you do. Make sure that you get some inbound stuff rather than always having to go hunt it down. And if you don't have the truck and all the capability to move this really heavy stuff, you can start by focusing on what you can move. Hey, 5-gallon buckets at a time, the aluminum cans, the glass bottles, that type of stuff, and really going from there. Maybe shopping around as well to see who nearby is paying the best rates. Hey, it might make sense to drive to the next town over if they're going to pay you an extra $20 on this ton.
Absolutely.
For $400 a month, you're moving tons of this stuff on a basis. So you're also getting your workout in. But Coach, really appreciate you sharing this stuff. Anything else that people ought to know before they go trolling Craigslist for some free metal?
Don't worry about being cool. Go get yourself that bucket truck, stack a few dollars. Don't buy dumb stuff. And that truck, whether you're a guy or girl, you can get a lot of side hustles. The metal, hauling things for people, moving things for people. And again, they can find me anytime, message me any questions. Coach Dom Costa, Google it. And I'm on all the different medias, probably way too much. Send me a message anytime.
You bet. Follow along, Coach Dom Costa on YouTube, at Coach Dom Costa on the Instagrams and other social media. Dom, very much appreciate you joining me, and we'll catch up soon.